connect me to the YouTube. That's cowboy. Hello. It's been a really long time since I've made a video, but I was just watching some of my old YouTube videos because I was just fucking around on YouTube, and I was really amazed at the difference in myself since obviously I was like 17 when I made my first videos, and now I'm 25, which is kind of crazy. But I was just really blown away at my physical differences, my speech differences. I never realized I had a little bit of a lisp, and like, I wouldn't say an impediment, but I definitely I lisp at the tiniest bit, which is kind of crazy because I never really realized I did. And just my naivety when it came to my first breast reduction video, and why I thought it was okay to be like braless in a white t-shirt on the internet, and not expect, like, I truly was naive, and I did not think that it would get as much attention as it did, and as much negative male attention as it did. And like, that video went around my high school and it was uncomfortable, but that's life, and you live and you learn. But I was just really amazed at the differences in myself, and I'm watching these videos of myself at like 16, 17, 18, 19, and just like cringing. Like, oh my God, my skin, my hair, the way I spoke, my baby fat in my cheeks, like all of this stuff that I was just really cringing at and really embarrassed by my previous self. And I, obviously I've aged, I've matured, like I've also just grown as a person, and seen all of these differences just really made me cringe at my younger self. And I think that has been a big thing in my life, especially I feel like from around the time I turned like 21, I really was like, I don't want to be my old self. I don't want to be like that. Like, I want to learn how to dress better, and I want to lose weight, and I want to improve my skin, and I want to be pretty, I want to be sexy, I want to be hot, and like, I am all of those things. And so it's really hard to kind of reconcile that child version of myself with the self that I am now, and not look at her and cringe and be uncomfortable and feel ashamed. And I feel like that is probably something that everyone can kind of relate to, of thinking about a thing that you did in the past, or looking at old pictures and just like being like, ugh, cringe, I don't want to think about that, thank God I'm not that person, blah, blah, blah. But I was talking with my therapist recently about something separate, but she was saying, you can't exile those parts of yourself. That is only going to make it come up more. You really have to focus on how can you really like radically accept those parts of yourself, and that is the only way that you'll be able to sit with it. And I've heard another quote about, like, how does it go? It's not about killing the parts of you that you cringe at, but it's about killing your cringe. And just really radically accepting those things in yourself that make you ashamed and make you feel uncomfortable, because they will continue to rule you if you don't let them, if you don't accept them as a part of yourself and be able to say, like, this is me as a whole. And looking at my younger childhood self, I was a child. There was so much I didn't know. I was very naive. I was very sheltered. I didn't understand a lot of the way that the world worked. And I don't know, having an eating disorder for almost half my life now, my weight has fluctuated a lot, and that's just life. And, I can cringe at times of myself when I'm heavier, and idolize times at myself when I'm my thinnest. But doing that doesn't really serve anybody. It doesn't really serve me. And it just makes it that much harder for me to radically accept myself as I am. And yeah, I feel like, again, that is something that everyone can relate to, of just having parts of yourself that you cringe at, and especially parts of your past self that you cringe at. And not that I'm perfect, not that I have all of the answers to this question and how to solve it, but I think it's important to be able to say, like, yes, that was me, and I'm still, I'm still similar to that girl in many ways, I'm different to that girl in many ways, and neither one of those things is right or wrong. I have grown and I've matured, and I needed to be that person to be the person that I am today. And that little girl was still lovable in so many ways, just because I can look at her and say like, oh, I struggled making friends because I looked weird, and I struggled making friends because I had talked funny and because I had poor skin, and you know, I wasn't dating much because I was ugly. And I'm not saying that these things are true, but like these are the thoughts that are in my head. And I can have all of these thoughts and I can look at that, but that doesn't serve me at all. That little girl was still deserving of love. And that little girl, she had friends. She had men who were interested in her. She had women who were interested in her. It didn't, my own judgments of myself didn't actually matter. It didn't actually stop anybody from being able to love me, but it was my own internal thoughts and biases against myself that made it difficult for me to love me. And I just think that it's really important to be able to take these parts of ourselves that we cringe at and look them in the face and say, that was me, and I love you, and I accept you, and that is still within me today. And yeah, I just felt like that was important to share. And I struggle with the thought of posting things on YouTube because it just feels so public, and it feels like something that I always thought was kind of just for me and then strangers. And like the thought of having people that I knew seeing these videos really freaks me out. And even to this day, it kind of, makes me feel weird. Like, I don't really tell people that much. I'm like, don't look me up on the internet, please. But again, that's another part of me cringing at being perceived. And I know we all feel that way. And I want to do something for me, and I want to share my experiences with other people, because if I've experienced it, you've experienced it, or someone you know has experienced it. And the shame lives in shadows, and it's by pulling these things out of the shadows that we can let go of the shame around them. And so this is a message to my little younger self, that you were doing your best at the time. There was a lot that you didn't know, and there's a lot that you know now, but you needed to go through those things to learn the things that you know now, and for me to be the woman that I am today. And I'm really proud of my growth, and I'm really proud of my younger self for always trying to grow, always trying to learn, and for always being authentically me. If there's one thing I can proudly say, that I have always been authentically myself. For better or for worse, I suspect I'm on the autism spectrum. I have ADHD. I'm always authentically myself. Even when I don't want to be, I am. And I'm really proud of that trait in myself. And I think that's something that everyone could grow and work to cultivate, is being more of themselves, because I continue to try to be more of myself, and to also recognize the parts of myself that continually need growth. That was a side tangent, but it's not about killing the things that you cringe at. It's about killing your cringe. Thank you.